KKVU HD3 Stevensville and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. Coulter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company, Grizzly Disposal. Locally owned, veteran-owned, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. We're going to kick things off talking about women's basketball. I guess girls and women's basketball, because we have our latest senior spotlight. Ave Odegaard, a recent graduate, I was going to say a senior, a recent graduate from Bozeman-Gallatin High School. She's hitting the ground running. She is already at St. Mary's College in California. Yes, that's St. Mary's, the West Coast Conference power. So that's a cool landing spot. Don't know if I've seen very many gals from Montana that have gone to the WCC, and certainly I don't think anybody's ever gone to St. Mary's, which is a great school and a cool place to live. So we caught up with Ave, but it got me thinking about just all the great girls basketball talent that has come out of Montana in recent years, but particularly this year. This was a very excellent senior class. There was 6 Division I prospects in this class alone. In the Montana-Wyoming All-Star game, the Montana gals had 10 players that were all going to college, 6 D1, another 2 that were going D2, and then a variety that were going to the Frontier Conference as well. So we've talked about it before, but I wanted to sort of package it together and let you know about the who, what, when, where, why, where's everybody going, et cetera, et cetera. So that's our senior spotlight coming up here in just a couple minutes. We also are going to talk some NFL today. We're also going to have our latest Mo Club Museum, where we're talking about some historical. The Mo Club, if you've never been there, downtown Missoula, they have one of the most unbelievable collections of photographs from, literally more than a century. And so my idea for them was, hey, let me just highlight one of these photographs once a week on my show, and we'll learn a little something together. So today we'll have an interesting one from the early 1950s pertaining to Grizz basketball. So that should be fun. That's all just in hour number 1. Hour number 2, Carol and the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports coming your way. We'll also hear from Brooks Davis, a sophomore wide receiver for the Grizz football team and one of the up-and-coming stars, not just at Montana, not just in the Big Sky Conference, but I think in the entire football championship subdivision. I think he has a chance to be a great one. So we'll hear from Brooks. He is coaching a camp. He and 4 of his teammates putting on a youth camp next Friday. So this will complete our 5-part series all about not just that camp, but also the Grizz offseason and how it's seen through the lens of some of the best players on the University of Montana. So there you go. It's what's coming up. Appreciate you for hanging. You want to stream it? You always can. 1029ESPN.com. You can also always use the ESPN MT app. You can also always find us on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch. And if you'd like to be a part of the show, please hit us up, 406-888-1029. Text usually the best way, but if you do call, we can patch you through as well, 406-888-1029. Let us know what you want us to talk about, what you're thinking about, what we're talking about. Anything and everything pertains to this, so let us know. Also, remember that number, because we got some free beer for you from DraftWorks. That's coming up about 4:30. Thursdays. Every Thursday here on Nuanez Now, get a $25 gift card to one of the best beer spots in the state of Montana. So remember that number, 406-888-1029. So here's the landscape. I think that, first of all, there's always been great high school and college female basketball players in Montana. I think that this phenomenon exists for multiple reasons. First of all, I think that the prominence of the Lady Grizz, the great winning tradition that they had for 38 unbelievable seasons under Robin Selvig, is a huge driver of this. But I also think that we think of Montana, the state of Montana, as a football state because of the national prominence of the Grizz and the Bobcats. I mean, the two schools have 3 national championships between them over the last 30 years. But for those of a certain age, you remember that Montana was a basketball state, first and foremost. Montana has one of the longest winters of anywhere in the country. But guess what every town in Montana has? Every town in Montana, I mean, to be a town, you got to have a post office. To be a Montana town, you probably have to have one bar. But almost everywhere, even if it's a tiny little town, they have a high school. And guess what the high school probably has? A gym. A basketball hoop. So basketball was the great pastime of Montana, and I think it still is. But for those of a certain age, you remember, first of all, what the high school basketball scene was like all throughout the second half of the 20th century. I mean, from Custer to Hysham to Libby to Eureka, you go anywhere, and you'd find 1,000 people at a basketball game, even if only 1,400 people lived in the town, right? But think about Anaconda. Anaconda was selling out the snake pit for years and years and years and years, no matter what the population of Anaconda was. But that's not unique to Anaconda. I mean, that is all over the place, right? I mean, you go to some of these games on the reservations. I mean, when you get a Class B reservation game in Billings, they've done this a few times in recent years where you get like Lodgegrass versus Harlem at the Metra, you're drawing like 6,000 fans to watch two teams from towns of like 800 people or 900 people each. I actually don't know what the exact populations of Harlem and Lodgegrass are. They might be a little bit bigger than that. But I guarantee you there's twice or 3 times as many people in the Metra as exists in the towns that those schools are from. But that's the fervor for high school basketball in the state of Montana, and that's even in the modern day. But for most of the second half of the 20th century, you had people that, I mean, Montana was a basketball state, no doubt. And I think people would tell you that from the collegiate level as well. I mean, the zoo at Dahlberg Arena is infamous. You go back to some of those. I mean, I was hanging out with Rick Ogle this 2 weekends ago at the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ogle was a phenomenal athlete at Bozeman High School in the early 1960s. He went on to be an all-conference linebacker at Colorado and then played in the NFL. But he was a great basketball player as well. And he told this story about playing at Brick Breeden Fieldhouse when he was a Bozeman guy. Played at Brick Breeden Fieldhouse in the state tournament in the early 1960s for the state championship. And that was back when the Brick, they didn't have all the reserved seats all in there. So, I mean, the Brick held over 9,000 fans back then in the 60s. And that thing sold out. So that was not uncommon. Basketball was the sport in Montana for a long time. And I think so much of it is because the small towns have a gym, and it's a great community congregation place, especially in places that aren't in the quote-unquote cities in Montana. And they also had the great prestige of the Grizz men during the 70s with Judd Heathcote was there, the Montana women for all of the years of the Robin Selvig, and then Montana State had their flashes. They had the 2 NCAA tournament bids in the 80s, then they had the one in the 90s, and then when Danny Sprinkle came back, they've been very good since then. The last 6, 7, 8 years, they've been very good again. Montana State's women have also been not maybe as good all the way back to the 70s, but certainly they had the breakthrough in 91. Some good teams in the early 2000s, and they've been great under Tricia Binford over the last 20-plus years. So all those things have driven basketball to still be not just a great sport, but also a great export in the state of Montana. I also think, though, that the emergence of great club programs in and around the state of Montana in women's basketball have also driven forward recruiting big time. If you follow the Northwest Blazers, that's actually a club that's based out of Boise, Idaho. But the AAU club rules is you can play in your state or one state over. So you can, if you're from Montana, you can play for a club team either from Idaho or Wyoming. That's still allowed. The Blazers have teams that feature young ladies from both Idaho and Montana. And there's even been, like there was the Northwest Cougars for a while as well. That was a boys basketball club. They even had guys from over like in Spokane and Washington, like Eastern Washington as well. But most of the gals that are coming through the Blazers program right now are Montanans. And you've seen some just ridiculous performances on the national level. Like the Blazers had a team when they were U16. This is when Brianna Williams, who was the multiple-time Gatorade Player of the Year at Billings Skyview, when she was a U16 in the Blazers program, they won the AAU National Championship with mostly girls from Montana. And you've seen this with the Blazers and some of the other clubs with gals like Taylor Chirick and Tegan Erickson that are at Montana State, and some gals that have gone to the Lady Grizz as well. Well, the Blazers are still a very strong program. And so I think that the combination of great tradition, heroes that exist that the young girls can look up to, and also the fact that there is a little bit of a pipeline. Like Montana girls basketball gets recruited significantly better than boys basketball. I think there's all sorts of different reasons for that, but I think a proof of concept is the number one reason, because there has been so many gals from Montana that have gone and made it big. I mean, all the way back to the Karen Deedens of the world, when she went to Washington, was an All-Pac-10 player for the Huskies, or Lori Payne, who came from Havre and went to the Huskies as well, or Kirsten Tillman, who was from more of my era, went from Bozeman High to Oregon State. Mandy Close, Bozeman High to Oregon State. There's been some great proof of concepts. Then after my time, Jocelyn Tinkle going to Stanford, Ellie Tinkle going to Gonzaga. Most of the gals that have come out of Montana and not stayed in Montana have done really well at the highest level of women's college basketball. So all those things factor into there being a real pipeline out of Montana. And that pipeline continued this year. The 6 Division I recruits out of the state of Montana included Jada Davis from Bozeman Gallatin. She's headed to Eastern Washington. She helped lead Gallatin to back-to-back state titles, including an undefeated run this year. Avery DeCoit is from Missoula Big Sky. She will stay home and play at the University of Montana. Cameron Reinker from Billings Central. She will also take her talents to the Lady Grizz. Madison O'Connor from Baker, one of the most prolific players that the state has ever seen. Over 2,000 point scorer, over 1,000 rebounds. Led Baker to another state title. She got 2 state titles during her decorated career. I think she's going to be a huge impact player at Montana State, coming from the Class B ranks. Mason Quinn from Frenchtown. She's headed to Boise State. She's already there. I actually have a message into Mason, so hopefully we can catch her before she gets too busy. But, I mean, that's the other part that's crazy, is these gals, you'll hear from Ave Odegaard in just a minute, but these gals are hitting the ground running. I mean, they're reporting a couple weeks after they graduate, and boom, it's summer workouts and it's summer school, and you are in it. You are a college athlete immediately. Don't get to enjoy much of a summer, but certainly the dedication is certainly impressive. And then, of course, Ave Odegaard from Bozeman Gallatin, who will join us as our senior spotlight here in just a quick minute. She's the 6th of the Division I recruits, and she is at St. Mary's College, which is in Moraga, California, which is about 30 minutes from Oakland. It's in the Bay Area. Prestigious private school and also a West Coast Conference competitor. And then you also had several other gals that I thought were like borderline D1 that I think are really good gets for some of the places that they're going. Michaela Coleman is from Bozeman Gallatin. She was sort of the third. They basically had 3 great players there at Gallatin, and Coleman was one of those 3 great players along with Odegaard and Davis. She's going to Carroll College. Peyton Gunlock, her older sister Braden, is going to Lady Grizz as well. She transferred from BYU, so she's another part of this lineage of great Montana-made recruits. But they're both from Big Fork. Peyton's going to Carroll College as well. Amaya Jarvis helped lead Havre to another state championship. She was a borderline Division I recruit. She's going to Central Washington, which is a very competitive D2 school in Ellensburg. Marissa Snyder, one of the biggest buckets in Montana. I mean, every time I looked down at the box score, she had 30-something points. She lit it up at Ennis, and she's taking her talents to Montana Western. Annika Sturgar, who won multiple state championships at Billings Central. She's headed to Carroll College as well, as is Denver Tuss, who hails from Malta, over 1,000 rebounds in her career, and she's also going to Carroll. So that's 4 really good recruits when you talk about Michaela Coleman, Peyton Gunlock, Denver Tuss, and Annika Sturgard for Rochelle Sayers at Carroll College. So they should be very competitive, not just now, but moving forward in the Frontier Conference. And, there was just a whole smattering of other great players that are going to Tech and Western and Rocky Mountain College. It would take us another 15 minutes to go through all of them. But it's all to say that Montana high school girls basketball and the club scene in Montana is in a very good place. And one of the best players to come from that scene is our guest right now. It's our Senior Spotlight. It's proudly presented by Dazzler's Car Wash of Missoula. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated all summer long at Dazzler's Car Wash. Here is our latest Senior Spotlight. Senior Spotlight continues here on Nuanez Now, highlighting some of the best recent graduates from Montana high schools. And a couple of these people are already in college. They're already making their way because it seems like everything has been moved up on the calendar. I know there's been a couple football guys that are reporting early for summer workouts, and some of the basketball gals, particularly like the guest who joins us next, already at their college destinations. We're highlighting Bozeman Gallatin girls basketball with Ave Odegaard, who is a recent graduate of Gallatin High and now part of the St. Mary's Gales women's basketball team. Ave, thanks for being here. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. I'm great.
First of all, tell us about just graduating, because it's always a long time coming when you get to that point in your senior year. But you hit the ground running. You're already down there in Moraga, California. So just take us through just graduating from high school and what it's been like for you, and sort of hitting the ground running there at St. Mary's.
It's been good. Obviously, graduating was super bittersweet, especially when you're moving away just a few days after. I loved my experience at Gallatin, the teachers, our administration. It was such a positive time in my life, and so it was definitely a hard chapter to leave behind, but I kind of knew all year that I would be leaving, and so I was able to do a lot of things with my friends, like talk to my teachers and stuff, and spend that time with them a few weeks before I actually graduated. So I left about a week after graduating, though. So it all happened very quickly. It was kind of sudden, and there was definitely a bit of an adjustment period there, going from like graduating high school, moving away from your family, moving to a new state, starting workouts that are harder, more intense, more frequent. So it was a big adjustment period, but I'm kind of starting to get settled in, and things are going right now, so I'm excited.
Well, and you dive right in. I know you had to miss the Montana-Wyoming girls basketball all-star game, but for a good cause, right? Because you're already there practicing. You sent me your whole workout. You guys are already on the grind, even though it's only early July.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're doing 2 to 3 workouts a day right now, which is, I'm used to doing 2 a day. That third workout's been a little challenging, but we all crawl into bed at like 8 p.m., wake up at 5, so it's just a different schedule than what I've been on, but I'm loving it so far. They do a good job of taking care of us, feeding us right, helping us get the treatment that we need. So it's a big change, but I feel like I'm adapting as well as I can be.
Well, you certainly finished your high school career with a flourish. A great season for Bozeman Gallatin, undefeated and AA champions for the second year in a row. So take me through what was it like just trying to pursue not just a repeat, but also going undefeated, because that is a challenge within itself.
Yeah, I think our challenges were very mental, just like staying engaged in practice, showing up with the same mindset no matter who we were playing. I think when you're competing at the level that we were, where like we had games that were blowouts, we had games that were closer. I think for us it was just saying like, okay, every day we're just here to get better. We're here to beat the team that we were last week. And so it wasn't necessarily about our upcoming opponent. It was like, okay, we had these stats last game and we want to beat each of them by 1. And so kind of just finding like little ways to challenge ourselves within practice, within the games, and just using ourselves as the bar of competition. Like, we're here to be better each day, and that measure is not against better than West, better than Great Falls. That measure is like better than the Gallatin team we were last week. And I think that mentality took us really far. And I think we had great senior leadership this year. I'm really excited to watch them play next year, because I think Sadie Perry, Ava Fleming, my little sister, some of these girls coming up will really get a chance to flourish and, grow into that leadership position, grow into some of those scoring roles. So I think they'll be very competitive again next year, but obviously it was a fun environment to play in, and I'm super grateful for the way that we got to go out.
Ave Odegaard joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. It's our Senior Spotlight, proudly presented in part by McElmurray Homes. McElmurray Homes, the premier custom home builders in Western Montana, and proud to support high school sports across the great state of Montana. I mean, look at the margins of victory. I mean, I think you guys ended up doubling up your opponents by the time the season was all said and done. You outscored them 1,400-something to 700-something. And really the only close games were against Billings West, which was the only team that really tested you. So, but it is sort of human nature to maybe have a game where you're off or you're complacent or, maybe it didn't go your way. So you mentioned it, but just the focus that would take. I mean, is that something you guys talked about? I mean, was it sort of a restart every single game to make sure you did keep that undefeated record?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from player leadership and just like our seniors being able to recognize, okay, yeah, like mentally we're not where we need to be right now. We just had a bad stretch. Like we need to reset. And I think that like especially me, Jada Davis, Matt Coleman, we were able to kind of come together as like a group and be like, okay, we're not where we need to be right now. Like, how can we get this going? And a lot of times for us, that was defense. Like, we're not focused. We're being sloppy with the ball. Okay, we're going to go down and play really good, very vocal defense, kind of get ourselves refocused. And then for us, our defense created offense. But it's just something you always have to be aware of, especially in practice too. And like things get loose, people start messing around. Just, you have to have the confidence to be like, okay, guys, like lock in, like we're not doing what we need to do, and just be able to hold your teammates accountable, even if sometimes that like comes off as like, no, like we're not messing around, we're not buddies right now, like we're on the court, we're here to get better, like this is serious. And so I think a lot of that just came like as we grew up, got more mature, got more comfortable in our leadership, like we were able to provide that for the team. But there were definitely games when we finished and we were like, yeah, like that wasn't a great game for us, that's not how we want to play, like we're playing down to the level of our competition. And I think games like that, like we talk about it as a team, and then at Monday practice, we recenter, and we had team meetings before each practice where our seniors kind of talked, and we're like, okay, like here are the things that we're focusing on today. Like last week, we were not great on the board. So this week when we're repping things, like make sure you're really locked in, going up with two hands, being strong with the ball. And so that was just good time for us to like recenter and be like, okay, here are the things that we need to consistently do well to compete at this level. And I think just like having that confidence as seniors and like having those leadership abilities kind of kept us centered, especially as we got deeper in the season.
Well, Gallatin's only been around for a little while, so basically to win the first one and then go back to back, I mean that's a pretty cool accomplishment. So have you considered that, just the sort of the history that you and your group, especially your fellow seniors, made this last year?
Yeah, that's a question I've been asked before, and honestly, like it's not something I have given a lot of thought to. I feel like I'm just very like in the present moment. And I think for me, like the legacy that we left behind, that like I left behind personally, I cared less about like the stats, less about the wins, and more about like the culture that we created and like the impact we had on the girls. Like we started a team Bible study, and we prayed before games in the locker room and prayed at center court after the games. And I think those are the things that were more important to me, that like when people remember our class, they're like, yeah, like this class was really faith-based, and they started a lot of great traditions in our program, and like culturally they started a more like player-led team. And so for me, I think I care less about the fact that like, oh, we were the first class to win a state title, we were the first class to go back to back, because ultimately like, and I think in so many years, like nobody's going to remember that. It's not really going to matter anymore. But like the girls in our program who were able to grow as leaders or able to grow in their faith because they were encouraged by our upperclassmen, and like those things that legitimately changed their life, I think that legacy is the one that's most important to me.
Well, very cool, and certainly a good message there, no doubt. So you got to tell us about the path down to California, because there's been a ton of Division I talent coming out of Montana for years in girls basketball. Your group of seniors has been awesome. I think there was like 10 Division I girls just in Montana this last year alone. But a rare path to get to California, to the West Coast Conference. So tell us how St. Mary's first landed on your radar, and what led you down there.
Well, my mom actually went to St. Mary's, and so that's kind of how it hit my radar. She loved her time here, and she was like, yeah, you should send them some emails, see where it goes. And so I started emailing them kind of late into my sophomore year, and then Steve Cleese, the head of the Blazers, has great connections all up and down the West Coast. And so I told them that they were high on my list and that I was really interested. And so he got me connected with Coach Kamen. I had my first call with him early May last year. It was supposed to be like a 15-minute, like quick introduction chat. We ended up on the phone for like 2 hours. And so I think we just share a lot of the same values and have a very similar philosophy when it comes to the way you play the game. And so I ended up taking my first visit at the end of May last year. Class was out, so campus was empty. It was more just kind of like check out the facilities, meet most of the staff. And then they came and watched me play all summer, flew to tournaments where I was the only recruit that they had, in like faraway tournaments in Pennsylvania and Ohio, and just kind of really poured into me and let me know that like I was a priority for them, that they really believed in me and what I could do, and that they believed I could come here and be a big contributor. And I think I'm a big relationship person. When I was committing, obviously when you go to play college sports, your sport's a big part of it. Like, you're not just looking at the school, you're looking at kind of how you are going to fit in with the program, if that's going to be a positive experience. And just this coaching staff, I could tell it's more about just basketball for them. Like, they care about you as a person, they care about your character development, not just your skills development. They want you to succeed, and I think they really believed in me. And so I definitely had the best like recruiting relationship with Coach Kamen, and which when it came time to decide, I felt most comfortable going here with them, knowing that they would take care of me. And since I've been here, a lot of people were like, oh, you got to be careful, like you're getting the best side of them when they're recruiting you, like things change the second you get there, they're recruiting your replacement. And so I mean, it was definitely something I was a little weary about, but since being here, it has been like the most nurturing environment where like you can tell even when they're giving you feedback, like it's just coming from such a genuine place of like wanting you to get better. They're checking how your mental health's doing, how your body's feeling. And I think they're a very faith-based program as well. Like, we pray before practice, pray before meals. And so I think for me, like just being a Christian, having that is huge, and just like being coached by people who understand like your faith and like what's most important to me, like as a person and as a player. And so it's just been such a nurturing environment so far, and I feel like this was the perfect fit for me. Like, I love where I ended up.
Well, it's awesome, and it's going to be a cool experience to follow along and see how things go, because it's been a little while since there's been a Montana gal that played in the West Coast Conference, but it's certainly a competitive league, no doubt. You mentioned the Northwest Blazers. I think that's been such a huge impact on Montana basketball, right? I mean, it's elevated the opportunities that a lot of young ladies are getting out of the state of Montana. So tell me about that. How much do you think that set the stage for you being able to be a Division I recruit?
Honestly, I think at this point in time, coaches are not really watching your high school games anymore. I don't think I ever had a coach like call my high school coach and kind of check in and like see like, oh, what kind of player is she? Tell me more about her. I didn't ever have coaches travel to come watch me play in high school. To my knowledge, I wasn't really having coaches like watch my games on NFHS. And so the club is kind of where it happens right now. Like, if you want to get recruited out of Montana, there just are not a lot of opportunities there. And so I think to get to a club that was based out of Idaho, where I wasn't, obviously there's an NCAA rule where you can't play for teams that don't border the state you live in. And so the Blazers was like one of the few options that I had, but it was some of the best memories, best years of my life. My coach that I played for, Michael Romanowski, was hands down like my favorite coach I've ever played for up until this point. He cared so much about the kids, and you could just tell he was doing it for all the right reasons. He was really invested in us, and he was intense, and he was a yeller, but like at the end of the game, he gave you a hug. He told you he was proud of you, and it was just such a great environment. And I think they do a really good job of bringing in like quality, very nice girls too. Like, they have a great culture in that program where they're recruiting girls that work hard, that want to be there, that are obviously amazing at what they do. And then those teams are really fun, really great dynamics. Like, the girls that you meet, obviously I played with Jamison Phillip, my junior, who's now at Montana State, just like really quality stand-up gal, super down to earth, super nice, very talented basketball player. And so I think they do a good job of recruiting talented athletes that are also have similar values, are very aligned, are great people, and then they bring in amazing coaches. And I think it's an amazing experience. It's a great program to be a part of. I could not say better things about them. It was such a great time in my life, and I'm really blessed for the opportunity to be able to play for them.
Well, there's a lot of great memories there. Do you have a favorite one from your time, whether it's at Gallatin or with the Blazers, or just sort of during this basketball journey?
Oh, yeah. I think one of my favorite memories, I tell this one often, me and my teammate her name was Ashlyn. We were guarding this girl. She was so much bigger than us. She was like 6'4", and she blew by me, and then she knocked my teammate over and scored on us, and we were running back on defense, and our coach looked at us, and he was like, "You guys are a bunch of pansies." And the ref was standing in between us and our coach, and she turned around and teed him up because he thought she was talking to the refs for not calling a foul there. He was like, no, like I was talking to my kids. And so it was the only time I've ever seen a ref roll a foul back. And so they pulled it back and we just kept playing, but I was like, oh my gosh. And then afterwards, like, he was getting mad at us. He was like, you guys weren't physical enough. But then he was like, but you did better than last game. And so just like memories like that were like, it was so funny and we were so scared, and it was just a great time. Like, and I think when you have a coach that you can tell they care about you, like you can take that really intense, like hard coaching because you know it's coming from a place of love.
Well, it's a great story, certainly. So tell me about just coming into this fall. Avi Odegaard joining us here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. Senior Spotlight, proudly presented by Dazzler's Car Wash. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated all summer long at Dazzler's. So what's sort of your mindset coming into your first collegiate basketball season?
Honestly, I think, like, I just want to be on the floor. I've told my coach, like, I feel like I'm a very versatile player. I can play 1 through 5, and so I just told them, like, whatever this team needs, like, whether that's a rebounder, whether that's a ball handler, a passer, a shooter, like, whatever you guys need from me, like, that's what I'll be. And so I think I'm just coming into this with, like, a very team-first mindset. Like, I will be what this team needs me to be, and whatever I'm asked to do, I'm going to do it at a high level. And then I think, obviously, I talked a little bit about how different the training is and how much more intense it is. And so I think just like recovery, mind, body, like making sure that I am recovering to the best I can, so that way when I show up on the court I have 100% to give. Vocally, leadership wise, obviously still a freshman, but like want to provide what I can in that department. And so just making sure I'm taking care of myself off the court, so that way when I show up I can bring my best self, the best version of myself, and that, you know, I'm just being coachable, I'm adapting well, I'm working hard, and I can just get whatever opportunities come my way this fall and this winter.
Well, certainly it's going to be a fun journey to follow along with, and a great job for having an open mind and letting it lead you there, because, I mean, I guess I have to ask you one more before we let you go about the academics there, too, because that's a great school. So that also had to be a draw for you, right? I mean, that's an elite school on the West Coast.
Yeah, I think when I was committing, I always told my parents, like, I am not going to sacrifice my academics to go play basketball. And so finding a school that obviously very academically rigorous, I think it will be a challenge once we get started to kind of balance our schoolwork with our basketball load, especially once we get into season and we're flying and missing school a lot. So it will be a challenge for me, but I like a good challenge, and the classes here are amazing. I'm in a communications class right now this summer, and I love my professor. The class sizes are very small. I think we have an 11-to-1 professor to student ratio, and then the average class size is 19. And so it's just a lot more like one-on-one attention. Your professors are checking in with you. They know where you're at. Like, if you're falling behind, you can go and get the help you need. And so I feel like we're set up to succeed and get a great degree, and not just like be in these huge lecture halls where your teacher doesn't know your name or doesn't care about you, but they know your name, they want to help you succeed, and you're actually getting like an education, you're learning. And so I feel really great about kind of where I ended up and how this is going to work for me academically and what I need. I think it'll be a good fit. So,
well, good job, awesome, and great catching up. Thanks so much for joining us. Avi Odegaard, Bozeman Gallatin High School graduate who's now at St. Mary's in California, joining us here on our Senior Spotlight. We appreciate it, and good luck with everything. We'll be following along from afar.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there We're experts that put products and gear to the test so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
The rare moments in life, they're not just few and far between. They're meant to be treasured.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair, restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair, restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Missoula Sports Center.
Montana State sophomore Lauren Now stretched her lead to 7 strokes in the second round of the 109th Montana State Women's Amateur Championship Wednesday at Cottonwood Hills Golf Club in Bozeman. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Now, who grew up in Arizona, led by 4 strokes after Tuesday's first round, when she fired a score of 666. She followed up with a 2-under round of 70 on Wednesday and sits at 8 under for the tournament, which will wrap up with 18 holes on Thursday. Montana Grizzly golfer Katie Lewis, who hails from Frenchtown, moved into a tie for second place with MSU Bobcat Sailor Graham on Wednesday. Lewis carded a 1-under score of 71 to go along with her 72 on Tuesday. She and Graham, a California native, are both at 143 heading into the final round. Former Montana Grizzly Raina Ports and MSU Bobcat Evan Hines, who are both from Arizona, are tied for 4th with an identical score of 144. Ports is a defending state AM champion. Peyton Tyron of Billings Sr. leads a field of 14 juniors for the Carla Berg Trophy, an award given to the 18 and under golfer with the lowest 3-day score. The state AA champion has a score of 156. In the Masters 40 Championship, Audrey Whitting of Bozeman leads by a stroke with her 36-hole total of 163. Sable Kurzman of Colstrip sits in second at 164, and Jamie Mackey of Polson in third at 168.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
It's so funny. One of my favorite experiences in life is driving my son to school in the mornings. It's daycare, but we call it school. You know, trying to get him in the flow. You know, of going to class, going with his buddies. But I play various songs for him. You know, he's got his kids songs that he likes, and Mr. Golden Sun and the Itsy Bitsy Spider, etc. But I also just play him just contemporary or you know, old school throwback music like that from time to time. And if he likes it, first of all, if he hates it, he just screams and says, "Play me, You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story or whatever, right? Or Mr. Golden Sun or Itsy Bitsy Spider or whatever. But if he likes it, he sits in the back and he just like nods his head, dancing around. That's how I know he's into it. His favorites right now in terms of real songs, like adult music, include Modern Love by David Bowie. Loves that one. He also loves Ride Like the Wind by Christopher Cross, which is like the hilarious the hilarious yacht rock song from the early 1980s. That stems from, in Toy Story, they say, "Bullseye, ride like the wind." That's Woody's horse. And he always says, "Bullseye, ride like the wind." And so we just started listening to the song, "Ride Like the Wind." He loves that one. He likes "Danger Zone" by Kenny Loggins. That's another one he's really getting into lately. So we're growing him up right, teaching him some good music. Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal has construction roll-off boxes for your construction project. They can get them to you within 24 hours or less. Don't wait days or even weeks. Just call Grizzly Disposal, 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. So we're in the point of the year where we're like, okay, what do we talk about? The World Cup's driving it for sure. A lot of the senior spotlight interviews have been great. I had some Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame content. We'll play some of that, a little bit more of that next week as well. We had this nice series of Grizz football interviews, so we're not famished. This is certainly not a drought. But every once in a while I say, okay, let's come up with something. So I tell Hayden, our producer, I say, hey, come up with some questions about this subject, that subject, whatever. So that's where we're at now. We're gonna end. So the next today and the next week, we're off tomorrow. No show tomorrow, but we'll be on the air Monday through Wednesday of next week. And then we're just rolling. Then it's just we're back to the Nuanez Now, every day, et cetera, et cetera. But I always tell them, hey, give me a couple things. And so today it's NFL questions. So I have no idea what he's going to ask me. This is completely freelancing right off the cuff. So Hayden, what do you got today for me?
All right, Colter, I got a fun one here. Would you rather have the best pass rush in the NFL or the best secondary?
Wow. That is a great question. The interesting part is that the team with the best pass rush in the NFL last year, your Denver Broncos, were very good. And the team with the best secondary in the NFL, in my opinion, and I think most people would agree, is the Houston Texans. And they were also very good. But neither of them won their respective conference or won the Super Bowl. So, what would I rather have, though? I think that the toughest thing to prepare for, I think the tougher thing to prepare for is the pass rush. I think the Broncos, the Texans are nasty on defense, all three levels, and they also have a great pass rush. And part of that's because they have such a great secondary. Also, don't sleep on the Broncos secondary. That's also one of the reasons. I mean, you got Patrick Surtain Jr. That's one of the reasons the Broncos have such a good pass rush, because they have great corners, including the best, in my opinion, corner in football. But Houston's got a couple that are right there. I mean, I think Derek Stingley's right there with Surtain as one of the best corners as well. But I think that in the NFL, there really isn't that much delineation between teams. Like, the best team and the worst team are just not that far away. It's nothing like college football, right? Like, if you have the number one team in the country, say it's Ohio State or Michigan or whoever it is at that exact time, play the 127th, I think there's 127 FBS teams right now. If you had the number one team play the number 127th team, I mean, that is like a 63-3 game, right? I mean, you're talking that the number one team is going to be 6 or 7 touchdown favorites. If you have in the NFL, you can have the Super Bowl champions take on the Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland's going to be in the mix for that game. I mean, they might lose by 10 points, 12 points or something. They are hardly ever, unless there's just a complete avalanche of turnovers or some crazy injury or something, they're never going to lose by 25, 30 points, let alone 40, 50 points. So then, to me, the things that differentiate NFL teams from each other are, number one, organizational stability, number two, coaching, and I think that those two things go hand in hand. 3, the quarterback that you have, and then 4, defense, but particularly the ability to disrupt the quarterback. If you can disrupt the quarterback, that is the number one most impactful factor in the NFL. I do believe that. So it's a great question, though. What do you think? 406-888-1029. It is a Thirsty Thursday, probably presented by DraftWorks Brewing. We got a $25 gift card for you from DraftWorks. What do you think? Would you rather have the best pass rush in the NFL or the best secondary in the NFL? I think the other thing that's worth noting is even the best secondary in the NFL, when they're playing against Patrick Mahomes or Matt Stafford or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, they're still going to give some stuff up. The best way to, I guess the easiest way to answer this question is, I think it's pretty much a consensus that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings. But Tom Brady played in 10 Super Bowls. He lost 3. Who did he lose to? The teams that could get to him. Like the New York Giants literally beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice for one reason and one reason alone: the ability to rush the passer. So I think that that's the answer. I mean, if you go through the annals of the NFL, Brett Favre was knocking on the door of getting a Super Bowl for a long time, but he needed Reggie White to come to Green Bay to kick down that door, right? Teams in recent years that have won the Super Bowl because of, at least in part because of great pass rushes. The Rams, when they got that one done, everybody talked about Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, but Aaron Donald had just as big of a hand. The Eagles had a ferocious pass rush. Even the Chiefs have had some pretty dang good pass rushes. I'm trying to think of other ones, but the Seahawks that are defending Super Bowl champions, they had a very good pass rush a year ago. But as I mentioned over at the top, it's not the only factor. And actually, the team that had the best pass rush in the NFL, the Broncos, and the team that had the best secondary in the NFL, the Texans, did. Here's the other part. The Browns had the best pass rusher in NFL history last year in Myles Garrett, and they also have a good secondary. By and large, they're good on defense. And they won like 4 games. So a lot of times it comes down to the other side of the ball, or just a conglomeration of all the things that goes into having a good football team. But that's a good question. Maybe we'll have another NFL question before the show is over. But keep those texts coming in. What do you think? What would you rather have? A dominant pass rush or an elite secondary? Which is a bigger factor in winning in football? Any answers to this? 406-888-1029 will get you entered in to win a gift card from DraftWorks Brewing. DraftWorks Brewing, located on Toole Avenue, family-friendly place with some of the best beer you'll find anywhere in Montana. They have an unbelievable selection, and they got some cool news coming up. We can't spoil it yet. No spoiler alerts here, but they do have some cool stuff that they're adding to the repertoire coming up as well. So we'll let you know when that's going down. But if you want a $25 gift card, let us know. What NFL questions do you have, or would you rather have an elite pass rush or an elite secondary? 406-888-1029. Come back and we'll learn a little bit about the 1951 Montana Grizz basketball team, our Mo Club Museum on the other side. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's 1029 ESPN Radio.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
Life's about the journey, not the destination, right? Why can't it be about both?
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I haven't played a single video game in years and years, which makes me proud and happy, but also sometimes I miss playing video games. I used to play video games a fair amount, but there was one moment in time in my life where I played video games a ton. And that song always reminds me of that one moment in time. This was, I think it's probably my freshman year of college. This is when at the height of the NCAA football video games, when they were so fun. We're talking PlayStation 2, so it's not too advanced. But I had a Dynasty, or what I can't remember what they called it. But whatever the long-term thing is. And the soundtrack of that had that song on it. But I used to play that game with the recruiting and what you're pitching to who and trying to get the blue chip guys and all that. Oh, I played it for hours. I was always Penn State. This is before Penn State fell apart, before Penn State had all their scandal. I loved it because that was when they had Mr. Larry Johnson as their running back, and I never forget spending so much time. I have not dedicated that much time to a video game in a long time, which is certainly definitely a good thing. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. I could just be the old guy and say, video games are terrible, they rot your brain, blah, blah, blah. I do think that too much video games certainly can hurt you, but I also think, I learned a tremendous amount about sports from playing sports video games. I learned everything about defensive coverages and stuff like that, especially from Madden, but also college football a little bit too. Learned so much about the nuances of baseball and all the rosters in baseball and stuff like that too, from playing from video games. So it's not all bad. It's just like everything. Like my mom always says, everything in moderation. Appreciate you for hanging with us. On my last day of the week, got a wedding coming up this weekend. It's that time of year, so no show tomorrow. I'm heading to Great Falls. Grizz Great turned artist aficionado extraordinaire, Ryan Bagley, getting married. So congrats to him and his bride. I will, of course, tell him that when I go see him on Friday and Saturday. But Bagley played for... he's a Great Falls CMR standout, played on multiple state championship teams there at CMR, and then played for the Grizz for 4 years. Didn't redshirt, so he was not a part of that Montana group that redshirted and then had the great run in 08 and 09. He would have been and probably should have been, but still he had a great career, and he finished his career in the top 12 in Montana history in catches and went on to play the CFL for a little while. But he is a phenomenal artist now. I bring him up, one, because he's one of my best friends, but also, and he's getting married, so shouts to my guy. But also because he's made a real impact on the University of Montana in the last couple of years. He's always been a tremendous artist. Like he would always be sketching and drawing and stuff when we'd just be hanging out in college. And he's really seized that and taken it and made it into not just a passion, but a career, at least sort of a career. I mean, he's got other pursuits and stuff, but I mean, he's truly making art and making money off of it now, and that's awesome. He has done some prints for us. We had that Grizz Greats print that we gave away in homage of the 1995 National Championship team with Dave Dickinson, Don Reed, and Andy Larson on it. He did a Bobcat National Championship painting that he turned into some prints as well. But the most visible thing he's done is he painted the mural on the press box. If you haven't seen this, it's a cool deal. I mean, it is an homage to Grizz lore, right? It has everybody from Manny Morales and Shannon Cate in women's basketball to Kareem Jabbar and Jack McGillis in men's basketball to Dave Dickinson and Cale Ayat and Eli Gilman and Jordan Tripp and Mark Mariani and Tremaine Johnson, Junior Bergen. They're all up there on the walls of the press box, which is super sweet. And he did a heck of a job doing that. And just wanted to give a shout to my guy because that's why we're missing the show tomorrow. But it's certainly going to be a fun time getting together with old buddies and talking about the glory days, talking about when we had more hair. Time for our Mo Club Museum. The Missoula Club, downtown Missoula. Still to this day, is just incomparable. Nowhere else compares when it comes to the hamburgers. They are just delicious. When we had our remote down there last month, I had to crush one before. It is just so good. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Love every second I get to eat a Mo Club burger. They are so good and so just like consistent and just you know exactly what you're getting. It's money. It's also just a fun place to hang, have a beer, watch some sports. But there's also a great history there at the Mo Club. They have photographs from literally over a century. I mean, that building has been there since the 1800s. And they have pictures dating back to like the 1910s, 1920s. So the Mo Club Museum, we just pick a picture and we highlight that specific photo and learn a little bit about history. So our photo that we picked today is a picture of the 1951-1952 Grizzlies. That team has an interesting significance because I didn't know this until this is why this is a productive exercise. The Grizzlies in basketball, when George Dahlberg, Jigs Dahlberg is what he went by, when he took over in 1937, the Grizz played in the Pacific Coast Conference. But then in 1938, they played independent league. They did not have a league. They were independent from 1938 until 1951. That's a relatively long time. I mean, that's 11 full seasons of basketball. So you look at Jigs Dahlberg's career record, he went 3-17 in the Pacific Coast Conference his first season, and then the next 11, there is no conference record. He just has an overall record. But 1951-1952, the Montana Grizzlies joined the Skyline Conference. That's the league that they were in from 1951 until 1963. That year, Montana went 7-7 in the Skyline Conference and 12-14 overall. So that was the first conference action that they had played in more than a decade. The Skyline Conference at that time contained BYU, Colorado State, the University of Denver, the University of Montana, New Mexico, the University of Utah, Utah State, and Wyoming. It's a pretty good conference. If that conference came back, I would be very much into that. BYU would be a behemoth in that conference, and so would Utah. But if Utah State, Wyoming, New Mexico, Montana State, Colorado State was a conference, that would be a sweet conference. I mean, that would actually be like almost ideal, right? Maybe you throw in a South Dakota State, maybe throw in Idaho. But that'd be a cool conference. For those that are wondering about way back in the Pacific Coast Conference days, here's who was in the Pacific Coast Conference. This goes up to 1938. Idaho, Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA, Cal Berkeley, Stanford, Oregon State, Washington State, and Montana. That's a powerhouse league. The Cats back then were NAIA. It was Montana State College back then. It wasn't even Montana State University. So pretty interesting to analyze. But the Mo Club Museum today is the 1951-1952 Montana Grizz team, the first team to play in the Skyline Conference. They went 7-7 that year. They were coached by George Jiggs Dahlberg, who Dahlberg Arena is named after. Hour one of the books coming at you. Hour number one in the books. Hour two coming at you. Sorry, I got so excited to turn the page to the 5 o'clock hour, stumbling over myself. Carol, the chicken doesn't know sports, and Brooks Davis coming your way. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
In honor of our Green Nation's 250th anniversary, Mattress Firm is having its biggest 4th of July sale ever. The entire lineup of top-rated mattress brands are on sale with prices starting at $149 up to top-of-the-line mattresses with lifetime warranties. Get the sleep you deserve with payments starting at $39 a month. Mattress Firm has pillows, sheets, adjustable bases, all on sale too during their biggest 4th of July sale ever. Locally owned and nationally known Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Montana State sophomore Laura Now stretched her lead to 7 strokes in the second round of the 109th Montana State Women's Amateur Championship Wednesday at Cottonwood Hills Golf Club in Bozeman. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Now, who grew up in Arizona, led by 4 strokes after Tuesday's first round, when she fired a score of 6 under 66. She followed up with a 2 under round of 70 on Wednesday and sits at 8 under for the tournament, which will wrap up with 18 holes on Thursday. Montana Grizzly golfer Katie Lewis, who hails from Frenchtown, moved into a tie for second place with MSU Bobcat Sailor Graham on Wednesday. Lewis carded a 1 under score of 71 to go along with her 72 on Tuesday. She and Graham, a California native, are both at 143 heading into the final round. Former Montana Grizzly Raina Ports and MSU Bobcat Evan Hines, who are both from Arizona, are tied for 4th with an identical score of 144. Ports is a defending state AM champion. Peyton Tyron of Billings Senior leads a field of 14 juniors for the Carla Berg Trophy, an award given to the 18 and under golfer with the lowest 3-day score. The state AA champion has a score of 156. In the Masters 40 Championship, Audrey Whitting of Bozeman leads by a stroke with her 36-hole total of 163. Sable Kurzman of Colstrip sits in second at 164, and Jamie Mackey of Polson in third at 168.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
You'll get why we're playing Madonna in a minute. Carolyn's got some Madonna talk here coming up on the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. Welcome back, Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. If you missed anything in the show so far, you can find it on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. As always, we are coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. They have one bin recycling. They can pick it up at your house. You want to add the service or make the switch, 406-541-7171. That's 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. 2 quick things. First, how about Kylian Mbappe? He is the best player in the world. He's on the best team in the world in France, and he showed why, as France showed why. A 2-0 win over Morocco. Mbappe, the dagger to help secure the win for the French. They're into the Final Four of the World Cup. More on that a little bit later on. Hayden will give you a little bit of a fill-in and an update at the end of the show here. But the other thing we got to acknowledge is Laura Now. Unbelievable. Laura Now went wire to wire and set an all-time MSGA record at the Women's State Am at Cottonwood Hills. She finished with a 13 under for the 3-day tournament. She's a sophomore at Montana State, but her 13 under gives her a 15-stroke victory. Nobody else finished under par. She goes 13 under. She went 66, 70, 67. She had 5 birdies in the first 9 holes today, absolutely destroying Cottonwood Hills, and she is the 2026 Montana State Women's Amateur Champion. Second place went to Katie Lewis, who's from Frenchtown and plays for the Montana Grizz, but Laura Now, who's an MSU sophomore, she runs away with the Montana State AM. Thanks to our great friends at Reds Bar. Need a place to watch the World Cup? There is 1 match tomorrow and 2 more on Saturday. I watched one of the World Cup matches down at Reds. It's a very, very fun place to watch the games. Reds is located on Ryman Street in downtown Missoula, a Missoula institution. The return of one of your favorites. So I'm suffering from seasonal depression already.
It's been beautiful. What are you talking about?
I know, because I know that it's almost over already.
Stop. You are such a downer.
No, here's the thing.
Oh, my God.
Here's this thing. This happens to me every year because 4th of July happens, and that's supposed to be the middle of summer, but for me, it's actually like the beginning of the countdown because then football starts. Like the media days is usually 3 weeks out from that, and then the first football game is like 6 weeks out, and it's just, it bends my mind.
So don't think about it.
I know. I try not to. I just try to skip my show for weeks at a time, just like you.
Yeah.
We haven't done Chicken Doesn't Know Minnesota sports a little while because Carolyn's been getting suntan out there on the coast, and I've been doing nothing but getting my head sunburned on the golf course.
Your noggin's a little red.
Yeah, here we are. So what's been going on? How was your vacation?
My vacation was great. We went to Chicago, and then we went to Indiana, the new home of the Chicago Bears.
That's happening, huh?
I guess. Right. And people are not happy about it. I don't know anyone who's excited about it.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would be.
Yeah, and then we went to Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Very cool.
And then we came home and went to Georgetown Lake.
So I haven't been to Georgetown in a little while, but is the 4th of July still amazing up there?
Yes, it's so fun. They have their little parade, and it used to be where people were throwing water balloons at the parade. Right. And then people had their vintage cars in this parade, and that's not cool because, these are vintage, pristine cars.
Sure.
So the water is gone, but the parade was super fun, and the Seven Gables was going off because that is the place to be. I mean, it's all right there. So they have a whole outdoor grill set up and bar, and it's super fun.
Well, I've spent one 4th of July up at Georgetown Lake, and I thought it was epic. But it's been a while, so I'm glad it's still rocking and rolling up there.
It was good. It was a good weekend. But we were just exhausted because we got back the Thursday night and then went right up to the cabin. And so we were all kind of like, but we survived. I'm not going to complain.
Well, so tell me, one of the most fascinating parts about what's been going on right now is just everything in and around the World Cup.
Yeah.
And all the exposure that America's been getting and how much people have been loving being in America. And I think that's been really cool and a great reminder for everybody that it is a great place. I mean, America is the greatest country in the world, and there's a reason for that, and people around the globe are experiencing that right now. Did you check out any World Cup? Was there any World Cup buzz where you were at?
Yeah, well, we went to try and watch the USA game at this brewery in Hilton Head, and it was insane. The amount of people were there, and I was like, I can't deal. That is not for me.
They're like jam-packed.
Jam-packed. We couldn't even find parking, and it was hot out, and I was like, eh. But what I've loved about the World Cup is seeing the camaraderie of all these fans and all these people from all across the world being welcomed to the United States, being welcomed by humans and people that just are excited to have them here, and everyone's been friendly and kind, and there's a saying that's going around on Instagram that if you want to continue to feel divided, stay on social media. But if you want to realize that, get to know America, go on a road trip.
Totally.
It's just been so cool to watch.
It's definitely been cool to watch. One of my good buddies, he just got back from a vacation in Greece. And I was asking him, I said, what's the buzz like over there? And they were in the Greek Isles. Mm-hmm. So Greek Isles, for those that are unfamiliar, it's kind of like Hawaii is to America. Like that's where everybody in Europe goes on their vacation. So you're around some Greek people, but you're mostly just around all these other Europeans that are tourists, and then you're an American tourist too. But he said that they ran into people from everywhere from Sweden to Germany to England. Everybody's just hanging out, but they all were like into the World Cup. So then they went out and like watched a couple games.
Cute.
And, they said they watched it with some English guys, and those guys were just totally into it too. So this is a crazy statistic. There's a new documentary. They dropped it. I guess it's not real. It's like a couple months old because they dropped it right before the World Cup started. But it's all about Team USA's journey to this point. It starts when North America got awarded the World Cup. And then it just goes through the last 4 years of just the Team USA trying to get to this point. And obviously they're out now. But one stat they dropped at the beginning is that because of all these various different like algorithms and the way that we can aggregate content and the way that FIFA distributes their content on everything from YouTube to TikTok to Instagram, that 6 billion people will watch the World Cup.
Wow.
3 out of 4 people on the earth will watch this. And I'm not saying sit down and watch a whole game, but it will hit one of their screens at some point. That's just mind-bending to me. Like, we think it's crazy when 75 million people watch the Super Bowl. 6 billion people, it's just stunning.
Well, soccer, it's popular here, but around the world, it is.
No question.
I saw this thing that it was like, it is the easiest point of entry. The sport is the easiest point of entry. All you need are feet and a ball.
Yes.
And you can train and, all those things. Yes, you need cleats. Yes, you need training eventually. But like, if you're just a kid who wants to just go kick a ball around,
No question.
I think so. That's probably why it's so popular everywhere else.
I mean, Morocco is in the final 8, and I mean that's a country where it's not a third world country, but there's certainly plenty of poverty in Morocco. I mean, but you look at all these countries that are not necessarily like first world type of countries that are excellent in soccer.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm leading you down this road, because you have 2 sons that dabbled in soccer once upon a time, but they were sort of involved in the American version of like the industrial youth sports complex.
Yeah.
And there's been so much talk on social media about why, like, first of all, one of the things that makes America great is that we refuse to lose. We hate losing. But the thing we always lose at is soccer.
Yeah.
Men's soccer. We cannot compete at a national level. And there's every other sport that we've ever invested anything in, we have been able to compete at. And I think it's befuddling to people. The main argument that I hear and I see on social media is that we're not as good at soccer because all of our best athletes don't play soccer. I think there's some validity to that. But I thought Darren Ravel had the tweet of the entire World Cup so far, because there was all these people that were saying, well, if Russell Westbrook and LeBron James would have played soccer since they were little, we would be so good. Darren Ravel said, but here's the thing. Those guys grew up in the hood, so they couldn't play soccer.
Right.
Like, they just would have not played sports because they would have got priced out of soccer when they were like 10.
Most people do.
That's the craziest thing, is that when you look at the way the European countries structure it, it is not like this pay-to-play mode like there is in America. It's basically like if you want to play elite soccer in America from the time you're 14 on, you got to invest between $10,000 and $15,000 a year for your kids to be able to do that. In Europe, with the club systems that they have, they're literally getting paid that much money to go play in the club systems and then work their way up the ladder. And I just think that I think that what's happening right now in the World Cup with the America not being able to get over the top is a great reminder that maybe our system, when it comes to development and youth sports, particularly soccer, is broken.
Then why is the women's soccer team so good?
So it's a really excellent question.
Thank you.
That is a really excellent question. I think, first of all, way more of our better athletes play soccer in women's because there's not as much of a draw to the other sports. First of all, there's not football to like take away.
Yeah.
Right. So many of our best athletes play football on the men's side. There's not that. So that's one part. I also think that basketball and volleyball is so dependent on genetics. Like if you're short,
right,
you're just not going to make it at the highest level.
But I also feel that way about soccer. If you're too big, like LeBron could not play soccer.
It's a great point.
He would not be able to do that, what those athletes do. Those are elite athletes.
No question. Well, and my mom was pointing that out when we were watching Argentina versus Cape Verde. She was like, they're all built the exact same. They're all between like 5'11" and 6'2" and like 185 pounds.
Well, that's because they're running like a football field nonstop.
10-mile run every single time they play. But it is a great question on the women's side because I think that the filter is a little bit different. I also think that, man, how do you like describe this? I think that club sports are way less detrimental for women than they are for men. Like the funnel of it all. Because I see this in basketball and volleyball too. Like rich people being able to invest in their children is not as detrimental for girls as it is for boys. I don't know why that is.
Do you want to know my opinion?
Rich girls make it to the top level of sports all the time.
Right.
Rich boys hardly ever do, except for in golf.
Oh, interesting.
Most of the guys that are the best athletes in the world came from not a lot.
Interesting.
On the men's side. And I don't know if that's a psychology thing or a sociology thing or why that is. But I just think on the women's side, maybe it's not as deterring to them. I don't know.
Well, I also think, my opinion, and I have no knowledge of this, those countries you're talking about that actually pay, like teenagers to play their club sports, or maybe not teenagers, young men, whatever. Sure. They're not doing that maybe as much for women.
Sure.
Where wealthy women, wealthy girls so they're getting that training here.
Right.
They're not getting that training. The women aren't getting that training in other countries.
Well, I also think that the United States has been ahead of other countries across the world in terms of availability and accessibility of sports for women.
Yeah.
So then therefore, I mean, the World Cup for men has gone back to like the 30s, whereas for women, it's only been going for like 40 years.
Yeah.
So when we started at the same time as all the other countries in women's soccer, so we became good fast.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like we've been trying to catch Brazil for 100 years, and we're just not gonna. We're not gonna catch Spain. It's just not gonna happen because
those kids are born with soccer balls, like literally.
No question.
Like they are handed a soccer ball as soon as they can walk. So it's just different.
I also think there's the prestige of the fact that the United States has won the World Cup multiple times in women's soccer.
Yeah.
So that drives some of our like I think of an athlete like Alex Morgan, for example, or Abby Wambach. That caliber of athlete, if they were a man, they would just play in the NFL or the NBA.
Right.
Because that's what the prestigious sport is.
Yeah.
Whereas the most prestigious sport for women, probably arguably on the national level in America, is it's probably either soccer, professional soccer or track. I think those are probably the two. The WNBA is getting there, certainly has made strides. But anyways, I just think that this is a great entry point to an analysis about maybe we should do this a little bit different. Like making the funnel smaller is not good for youth sports. It
seems though, like, is this the furthest we've gone in the men's World Cup?
No.
Okay.
That's the other part about the narrative that's pretty interesting is that they wanted you to believe this is the best that the United States has been in forever. It's the exact same as we've been for 32 years. Okay. We've made it to the round of 16, 6 out of the last 7 World Cups. So this is exactly where we get out every time.
Okay. Well, we'll get there.
I see. That's the thing. I don't think we will.
I don't care really. I'm just happy I'm just happy to see all of these people like just being happy together, cheering, and you know what else I notice? When teams lose, there's no rioting.
Right.
There's no fighting. You don't see fist fights at the World Cup.
Totally.
You don't see everyone's just so happy to be there.
Totally.
It's really cool. There's been so many great stories. Like I saw this one, I can't remember if he was from England, but he was saving for a house and then he decided to take the money he'd started saving for a house, it was like $12,000, and buy tickets for him and his grandpa to come over and go to a World Cup game. And he's like, I can save more money, but my grandpa will never have this experience. Man. And I just was like, I love to see it.
Nuanez Now 129 ESPN Radio. Chicken Doesn't Know Sports here on this Thursday. Last night on the World Cup. Last Sunday, an all-time great match between England and Mexico, and it was in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the funniest and also maybe dangerous pieces of social media that I saw was these English lads after England had won, and they were hammered. Several pints deep.
Yeah.
And they were like wearing their British flag, parading around Mexico City. And I'm just sitting here thinking, man, these guys are either going to have the greatest night of their lives or they're actually going to get killed.
Does anyone know if they're okay?
I don't know. But it's just so funny to think of like the guy who drank 30 pints during the England and Mexico game.
I mean, the drinking thing has been hilarious.
Yes.
Seeing the drinking, the Scots and the...
man.
Yeah, it's been funny. Yeah. I also saw this really funny meme, and it was like Boston in 2036, and it was like just all these redheaded little kids, because it was funny.
Gotta love it. All right, what do we got this week?
Well, since we're talking about the World Cup, I want to talk about this. So the World Cup, FIFA has demanded that every stadium the World Cup is in has grass.
Okay.
They pulled up... turf and laid down grass.
Interesting.
Now, I guess NFL players have been for years begging for all of the stadiums to be grass.
Yes.
And NFL said no. Like, whatever stadium, we've talked about the grass versus turf thing before.
Sure, yeah.
But whatever stadiums don't have grass, they're going to continue to not have grass. They currently have grass. So why not just keep the grass?
Yeah, keep the grass.
It keeps them safe. It keeps, safer.
Safer, for sure.
I imagine it's upkeep.
Yeah.
But
at this point, though, why would you cater to what is the cost of upkeep for an NFL field? I'm sure it's significant for a normal person, but the NFL they're making like $10 billion a year. Like, if it costs $1 million per team or something to upkeep, that is nothing compared to what these teams are making.
Especially
right now.
If you're losing players, because they're hurt or whatever. It just seems like it's a win-win to keep the grass and to also make all of the fields grass. So I don't really know what that's all about, but some of the players have expressed frustration recently over this. So maybe they'll keep it. I don't know.
I mean, the NFL generated, I was making sure I wasn't exaggerating, the NFL generated $21 billion in revenue last year.
Insane.
That's great. You can afford to water the grass.
Some grass and a little turf and a little sod.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Each franchise averaged a profit margin of $431 million last year alone.
Insane.
But see, the way I would do it is how Arizona and Vegas do it. The grass is on like a sliding thing. They actually have natural grass, and they grow it outside and then bring it in so it doesn't get scorched. So the grass is like perfect all the time. Seems like technology you could afford, and it seems like beneficial.
It feels like if a couple NFL teams can do it, all of them can do it.
Totally.
It just seems like it should just be done. So.
I actually hadn't thought of that until right now. I wonder how the Grizz will operate this upcoming. I mean, they start fall camp here in a couple weeks, and whenever Bobby Hauck has been the head coach, which is 16 of the last 23 seasons, they've always done fall camp at Dornblaser Field because he thinks the grass is way safer. Especially when you're going against each other, you don't want to hurt each other. I wonder if they go into the stadium now. I don't know. It's fascinating.
Huh? Because why wouldn't they? Oh, because they have the bubble.
They could do the bubble, or they could just go Washington Grizz, either one, and play on turf.
Yeah. Is the stadium turf or grass?
Turf.
Interesting.
Yep. The only natural grass. There's 2 natural grass fields in the Big Sky Conference: Northern Colorado and UC Davis.
Okay.
Chicken Dozen Sports here on ESPN Radio 102.9, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. Carolyn joining us. All right, what else you got?
Well, a little thing happened over the weekend. I'm not sure if you heard.
The wedding.
Taylor and Travis finally got married.
Did she really sing songs at her own wedding?
Oh, God. Look, I want to dig deep into this because this wedding made me sick.
It did. Okay, first of all, I got to give myself credit here. I have somehow mastered the algorithm because I have not seen a single word about this. Not one Instagram post, not one tweet, nothing.
Your phone's listening, so you're
now next time I go to scroll, it's just going to be Travis Kelce wedding.
This was the weirdest wedding I've ever seen. So first of all,
it was staged relationship.
You don't think you don't think they're really married or in love?
I think State Farm is paying for the whole thing.
Well, do you think Jake from State Farm was there? Probably.
He probably was.
Knowing that weird list. So they got married at Madison Square Garden, and Hayden kept telling me it's happening there. I was like, absolutely not.
My wife kept saying the same thing. She's like, there's just no way they're doing that.
And then the way they shut down around Madison Square Garden for 2 days in like a heat wave, and whatever, it's not like they knew it was gonna be a heat wave, and then they had 1,000 people at their wedding.
1,000.
We had 130, and I was like, I did not talk to everybody enough. Like I felt so guilty. 1,000 people, that is like a networking night.
Totally.
And then like she invited the most random people, one of which was Charles Barkley. But he declined because he wanted to golf.
Amazing.
But you know who was there?
Who?
Mike Vrabel and his wife.
Whoa.
I think she stayed with him for the wedding, and then she's going to divorce him.
Whoa. Mike Vrabel and his wife. What's the connection there?
Football?
Yeah, but like Vrabel's never coached Travis Kelce. He's coached against Travis Kelce. I wonder how they became friends.
It is. I don't think they're friends. Like, it is the weirdest thing.
She just invited people that she wanted to be at her wedding or something?
I don't know. It is the strangest thing ever. Like, I know you don't know this, but years and years ago, Britney Spears got married. And she had the most random guest list. It was like
Who did she marry again? The dancer guy?
Some dancer guy.
Kevin Federline.
No, not him. It was her second wedding. She did marry him, but this is a different wedding.
But she never married Justin Timberlake.
She never married Justin Timberlake. But she had this wedding where it was like the most random guest list. It was like Paris Hilton and Drew Barrymore and Madonna and like... It was just so strange, and that's how this feels. Like you just invited people, like maybe they
met at the Diddy parties,
management or something.
Maybe they met at P. Diddy's house.
Maybe. This is how weird it is. New York City Garbage has packaged garbage from the floor at Madison Square Garden, and they're selling it for $25.
Stop.
And it's in a clear box, and you can see what's inside. And one is like, like a pull tab on a soda or a beer.
Yeah.
Pull tabs. Like little pieces of napkin, confetti. I don't know if people are buying it, but they're selling it.
I just don't understand. I just don't get it.
I don't either.
Taylor Swift is one of the most randomly famous people to me. I just don't understand.
I mean,
she's sort of good looking, but not that good looking, and she's like sort of talented, but really not.
I mean,
I'm probably going to get raked
I think
over the
she's
coals for that.
talented. I just don't get the crazy
There's
hype.
just so many people that are so much more talented than her that aren't as famous as her. That's really interesting to me.
It is interesting. I think she nailed the target of like prepubescent girls to teen girls
for 20 years.
And then they grew up, I've loved Taylor Swift since I was 8 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, so that, I think that's the deal.
Wow.
I mean, that's sort of how I feel about Madonna.
Yeah, but Madonna makes total sense to me because Madonna is so inflammatory and risque.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's a sex symbol regardless if you think she's attractive or not.
But not now. Have you seen her butt implant?
Well, no, I mean, I know not now. She's like 60.
You can still be hot at 60.
You absolutely can.
She
is
has
no
the
longer
weirdest butt implant thing.
But the reinvention and the always pushing the envelope and like the music videos and
she evolved.
She had the book.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you remember the book? This was like before the internet existed. So like, there's a lot of people that were lining up at work. What was the bookstore that you used to be able to go to buy? Anyways,
Barnes and Noble.
Well, it was another one. It was like they sold books and music. I can't remember what it's called.
Hastings.
That's exactly right. You line up at Hastings to buy the Madonna.
And you had to be over 18.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because it was like wrapped up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that totally makes sense to me. She's got the controversial name.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you give me the top 10 Madonna songs of all time. Every single one of them is way better than Taylor Swift.
I agree.
I'm just not a big T Swift fan. I respect the prolific nature and I respect the fact that it's been consistent, but it's just not for me.
I did see Toy Story 5 and I did like her song in that movie.
See, that song is pretty good.
It's really cute.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We made it through. I actually wasn't even there. My wife took my son to Toy Story 5. He's only 2. He made it for an hour.
It's tough because then they show all the previews and then the kids get antsy then.
Yeah. He made it in an hour, which I thought that was actually pretty good. He really can't sit still for even more like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Normally.
2's pretty young. I mean, I understand why he loves...
Yeah.
He loves Toy Story, so you had to go.
Loves Toy Story.
My son was, really into Toy Story, so he humored me and went with me on Tuesday night, and it was very sweet.
Well, very good. Nuanez Now July, ESPN Radio. Carol G doesn't know sports here. So, what's the fallout? Now that they're married, can we stop talking about it or what?
Well, I heard they were recording a documentary.
Oh my gosh!
So she's going to profit from this somehow, right?
Do you have a wedding film? Did you film your wedding?
No, it was 2005, so nobody had phones. I mean, they had phones, but they didn't have iPhones yet. And my friend took some video and gave it to me, but no.
Huh.
Her husband had a video camera.
Yeah, right.
Right. But no, we didn't do the whole video
I still don't know what you do with your wedding film. Do you watch it someday? You show it to your kids, I guess. It just seems weird.
Mine's on a VHS, so I can't even do that.
It's several of my film guys this summer have been doing weddings, which is great. But they've been doing it sports story style, where they interview the bride and the groom and then make it into this dramatic cinematic thing, and it's so cool.
Yeah,
it is so cool. But it just seems so self-congratulatory to be like, hey babe, you bored? You want to watch our our sports story wedding?
I mean, we don't even really look at our pictures that often. I bust them out sometimes when I'm
there's probably one in your house that you see or something. But yeah,
the poster on the wall that
All right. Well, hopefully, I just can't wait for the day when Travis Kelce retires, and then we don't have to talk about Taylor Swift through the lens of sports.
I know, but I think he's always going to be.
He'll get a job in TV, and then
he's got his podcast, and he's always going to be. He and his brother are so overexposed. They're going to be out there. Also, I predict that Jason Kelce wore a kilt to this wedding.
Whoa!
I just got this vibe.
Well, it'd be on brand for him.
Yes.
All right, Nuanez Now July, ESPN Radio. What else you got?
All right, last thing. I texted you this when I was on vacation, and you did not reply. And that was...
I was on vacation, too.
I don't care. LeBron is getting traded. Or
you texted me this at night. You got to know. I go to bed 8:30 now.
I was on vacation, so I stayed up till midnight every night.
Whoa.
It was only 10 our time.
Yeah,
so.
Right, on the East Coast.
But let's talk about LeBron. What do you think is going to happen?
Man.
Wait, real quick. The stipulation for his trade is that Bronny has to go with him. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Could you imagine? I'd feel super embarrassed if I were Bronny.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's so embarrassing. And LeBron's not going to be here's the thing that the whole thing's going to hinge upon. is, well, first of all, what does LeBron want out of this? Is he doing this for lifestyle for his son, or does he actually want to win another ring? If he wants to win another ring, then the world is going to hate on that, because that's what we do. It's so funny because all the people that will argue for Michael Jordan and against LeBron would say Michael Jordan has more rings. So then when LeBron goes and chases rings, then people criticize. Those same people are like, well, he's just ring chasing. He's just going to different teams. And it's like, well, you said that he can't be better than Jordan unless he gets another ring.
How many rings does he have?
He has 4, and Jordan's got 6.
He's not going to get that, and he's got to retire.
Well, here's the thing. He might, if he went to the right spot and then they went back to back, he could get to 6.
Do you think he'll go to the Knicks?
I do not think he could go to the Knicks, but I also think even though the Knicks are the reigning NBA champions, they are not the favorites to win the championship next year.
It's already known that they're not the favorite?
Definitely.
How?
First of all, because there's been so many trades and crazy things that have happened in the last 2 weeks already.
Oh.
And because they played the best, they are not the best team. They're like the 4th best team. But they played the best.
They just played the best.
They played the best. I think that the top options for him are Philadelphia, Miami, Golden State, and probably maybe San Antonio if you really wanted to roll the dice and go play with Wemby. If he wants to win rings, he goes to San Antonio.
Interesting.
But that would be an interesting mix because, like, their 4 best players are all 22 years old or younger.
Oh, my God.
Like, that would be wild to be him. He is literally twice as old as the guys on his team. It's like, what would they think? Or are they going to, like, be starstruck? Are they going to be in awe of him?
You don't think he'd go back to Cleveland?
I think
Cleveland. End his career.
Well, that's what I mean is if lifestyle is the motivation, he'll go to Cleveland because he could be the hero there.
Right.
And they're good. I mean, they
made it to the something.
They won a couple playoff series, so they're good. It's just a matter of like how much do teams think he's going to move the needle to, and how much is he willing to work for? Because if he wants to, he was making $53 million last year. If he wants to do that, that's not in the cards. Nobody's going to pay a 42-year-old $50+ million. If he wants to take a huge pay cut and only make 20 to 25, he's a pretty coveted commodity then, because that's a heck of a deal because he's still really good.
Why are the Lakers giving him up? I know they have contracts and stuff. But
mutual parting of ways, but I also think that he just knew that. I think he knew it was done in L.A. They weren't going to get over the top.
Okay.
They had this. So, man, the Lakers story is so complicated and convoluted. But they had this one dude, Austin Reeves, that rose to prominence from almost nothing because they got so decimated by injuries. And then this dude, he got like red hot, and then he stayed red hot. And he got this contract that is way more lucrative than what his actual talent is, and then that just hamstrung the entire organization. So I think that he knew that he wasn't going to be able to lure a better player there to be with him. He's just got to go somewhere and team up with somebody else.
Got it. Okay.
So if he wants to win championships, his best options are in order: San Antonio, Miami, Philly.
Okay.
If he goes to Golden State, that would be interesting, but that's going to be like the geriatric club because it's going to be him and Steph Curry. And
that's the rumor is he's going
Golden State,
there.
and Anthony Davis has expressed interest that he might go to Golden State too. That team would be good. I just don't know what their sustainability is because they're all going to be in their late 30s or early 40s.
Old people.
Draymond's on the move too. That'll be interesting to see where he goes.
Okay.
Because he's never played for anybody but Golden State.
Interesting. Well, LeBron, I appreciate your love for your son, and I know that this is why you're doing it. But maybe time to hang up the high tops.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on LeBron. He's still one of the 10 or 15 best players in the NBA, which is just utterly insane to say. But
yeah.
This next year, too, though, he crosses very many milestones, and I think that's the other reason he's hanging on. Nobody's ever played 23 seasons in the NBA. The record is 22.
And what is he now?
This will be his 23rd season.
Oh, so he's definitely going to play.
He'll break the minutes record. He already has the scoring record, so he'll keep putting that out into the stratosphere. I mean, all of his All-NBAs and his All-Stars and all that stuff. Like he's about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all that stuff. So he has a chance to put the records in the far future.
You know what record I bet he hasn't broken?
What's that?
Wilt Chamberlain's.
Oh, buddy. Multiple of Wilt's records, certainly, but the one you're implying, no doubt. Checking out Sports here on ESPN Radio, probably presented in part by Hot House Yoga. I tried to go to the Hot House the other day, but the advertising is working.
I know.
It's popular.
It's popular.
We had a wait list, and I signed up for the wait list in the evening, and then I never got in. So, I mean, good job by everybody else that's going and getting it done. But Hot House is an awesome place to to unwind, get your fitness on, get a good sweat. So
it felt so good to go in there and sweat after my vacation. Just like sweat out all the food and drink.
Oh yeah. The detox is definitely the best part.
And they're doing paddleboard yoga, and
Very
so
nice.
I want in this heat. I definitely want to go check it out. Is my goal this summer.
Yes, very good. Checking out little sports here on ESPN, sometimes on Thursdays, sometimes on Fridays, but certainly here on this Thursday. We'll be back on the other side, the final of our series of 5 interviews with Grizz football players. They're all hosting a youth football camp next Friday. Brooks Davis, a standout wide receiver for the Grizz, joins us next. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Is a will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Montana State sophomore Laura Now stretched her lead to 7 strokes in the second round of the 109th Montana State Women's Amateur Championship Wednesday at Cottonwood Hills Golf Club in Bozeman. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Now, who grew up in Arizona, led by 4 strokes after Tuesday's first round when she fired a score of 6 under 66. She followed up with a 2 under round of 70 on Wednesday and sits at 8 under for the tournament, which will wrap up with 18 holes on Thursday. Montana Grizzly golfer Katie Lewis, who hails from Frenchtown, moved into a tie for second place with MSU Bobcat Sailor Graham on Wednesday. Lewis carded a 1 under score of 71 to go along with her 72 on Tuesday. She and Graham, a California native, are both at 143 heading into the final round. Former Montana Grizzly Raina Ports and MSU Bobcat Evan Hines, who are both from Arizona, are tied for 4th with an identical score of 144. Ports is a defending state AM champion. Peyton Tyron of Billings Senior leads a field of 14 juniors for the Carla Berg Trophy, an award given to the 18 and under golfer with the lowest 3-day score. The state AA champion has a score of 156. And In the Masters 40 Championship, Audrey Whitting of Bozeman leads by a stroke with her 36-hole total of 163. Sable Kurzman of Colstrip sits in second at 164, and Jamie Mackey of Polson in third at 168.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Grizz, in the offseason coverage continues because we got a fun opportunity for young people around Missoula coming up July 17th at Washington Grizzly Stadium. A quartet of Grizz are hosting a youth football camp. It's a great way to come out, learn from some of the best in the Garden City, and also have your kiddos get a chance to meet some of the guys they really look up to. So this has been fun to do and fun to hang out with, and we are certainly proud to be the media sponsors of this great camp. We've been making the rounds with all 5 of the Grizz guys that are helping co-host this camp, including our guest today, Brooks Davis, about to be a sophomore wide receiver for the Grizz football team. Brooks, what's up, man? How's it going? Thanks for doing this.
What's going on, guys? I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. First of all, you got to tell us just about your first year in Missoula, really making an impact on the field. I know you've been here for a couple of years now, but last year you had a great breakout season, and we sort of saw it coming in the spring, but then you really made it happen in the fall. So just take us through it. What sort of things went into that, and what was it like to sort of experiencing being on such a great football team last year?
You know, it was unreal, especially being on the Grizz. You know, there's no team like it, playing in that atmosphere in front of all those players. Man, it was just so rewarding to kind of see the hard work that you go through throughout the fall, camp, spring, kind of pay off. You know, taking the coaching from, you know, Coach P's, BK, you know, all the guys on staff, and, you know, kind of just battling with your brothers throughout the season. It was just so rewarding, and I'm so grateful to be in that position.
What was maybe the biggest jump that you noticed, you know, coming from a guy that was a great high school player, but then, you know, getting your first action, you know, at the D1 level? Was there anything that you noticed just in terms of the level of competition?
Yeah, I'd definitely say the speed and the physicality, definitely. Like these guys, compared to high school, a lot bigger, a lot faster. You know, everyone's fast and big at the higher level, so you kind of need to take things from your game to differentiate yourself. So definitely the speed and physical part of it.
You're so fast already. So, I mean, what's the thing that has maybe helped you differentiate yourself? Is it been the strength and the physicality part that you have to?
Yeah, we've definitely been getting after it in the weight room. That was kind of the biggest thing for me to get bigger, maintaining my speed, you know, so I can compete at that level. But I just say refining my route running, my releases, top of the route, kind of just becoming smarter on the football field, you know, understanding the defense and how that works, how that all plays out before the snap is even snapped. So I think that was a big part of it.
Well, wide receivers coach last year was Bobby Kennedy, and you guys certainly had a great group, and he made a huge impact because you guys had a whole bunch of great, you know, breakout type of years amongst your group. So give people some insight. What sort of things did you learn from BK last year?
I'd say, you know, grit and being, like he always says, family, the family you choose. And I think he really brought us all together really close where, you know, those meetings and on the field, we were all on one page. I think, especially with the quarterbacks, we also had our meetings were with the quarterbacks with Coach P. So I think we all just came together as one. I think that was the biggest thing, and kind of just refining our receiver skills off the field and even in the film room. So. Yeah.
Well, now here he is. He takes over as the head coach. So what sort of things can you tell people about maybe what you think is going to make him a good head coach, and what sort of characteristics maybe you saw last year that helps him sort of make this transition and take this program over?
I'd say the biggest thing is he wants to win, and that's what we're going to do. You know, the goal is to go 60-0, you know, win a Big Sky championship, national championship, and that's what we're working every single day towards. I'd say competing, just getting better every single day on and off the field. You know, he's big on going to college. He always says that to us, time to go to college. You know, being all-stars off the field in the classroom, because without that, you can't perform on the field. So kind of just becoming better as a whole person rather than solely the football side.
Brooks Davis joining us, Grizz wide receiver. He's hosting a camp with several of his teammates coming up July 17th, Washington Grizzly Stadium. More on that here in just a little while. For you personally this offseason, then what sort of stuff are you grinding out? What sort of stuff you've been working on?
Definitely getting bigger is kind of the biggest goal for me, eating more, staying consistent, and kind of just refining my receiver skills. Like I said, getting into film more, learning the defense a lot more, kind of understanding the whole aspect of the game, has been kind of big for me. So I'd say that.
The part of the transition that is so intriguing to me is how much of the offense was sort of kept in place. Brent Pease back at the offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Obviously, BK was an offensive guy last year, so he's very familiar with it. Rob Fennessy back as well. Brett Myers new to the staff, but again, it's been around the Big Sky for a long time, so there's nothing really new to him. He knows all the programs and all the trips and all that sort of stuff. And then all you guys, personnel-wise, you're back. Kaylee Ayat's back. Eli Gilman's back. A whole bunch of the tight ends are back. So how much do you think of a leg up does that give you? Did you guys feel like you were sort of ahead of the game this last spring?
Yeah, definitely big. With all those guys coming back, we're all on the same page still, kind of picking up where we left off last season. So I think that's big. Getting especially with me and Kaylee, the connection that we have. I think that's huge for me and him. And plus Coach P's, scheming it up, doing like everything he can. Great, like the brains of the offense. So it's huge.
Well, what a treat for you to have a great quarterback to work with as well. So how have you seen your guys' relationship evolve and grow over these last couple of years?
Oh, great. It's been amazing, kind of picking his brain and what he thinks and getting things from him to apply to myself and, working out any errors or, getting all that stuff out right now. So then when camp comes and season comes, we'll be fine.
Well, it's now 102.9 ESPN Radio as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. Brooks Davis, a Grizz wide receiver, joining us here. So tell us about working with the kids. I know you guys have been dabbling in it a little bit during June, but then you got your own camp coming up in July. Yeah. So what sort of things have you just enjoyed about being a part of the community and getting to interact with all the kids?
I feel like that's one of the biggest things I enjoy as being an athlete on the Grizzlies. I think like playing in front of them is just huge for me. The support that we have, the camaraderie of everyone, it's just like it makes my day when I see guys supporting and I think it's an honor for me to be a role model for some of these kids, and I think that's what I enjoy most about being an athlete is kind of helping the kids out and kind of being a role model for them in some way.
Well, it comes with some responsibility too, right? But you guys seem to really lean into that, and you guys seem to really enjoy that part too. So, has that been sort of a growth experience for you to know that, hey, you got to keep it between the straight and narrow because you do have so many people looking up to you?
Yeah, it's definitely bigger. It's definitely bigger than just yourself. You're playing for your team, but you're also playing for everyone watching, your coaches, your family, the fans. Like, it's definitely bigger than yourself, and that kind of reminds you and even pushes you to play better and act to the best of your ability on and off the field.
Doubt. I'm sure it does, certainly, and that's what makes Grizz football great and what makes it such a huge part of the state of Montana. So what has you most excited about this upcoming camp that you guys are hosting as players? You get to be coach for the day and sort of run the show. So what sort of things has you excited about this?
Definitely making some good receivers, developing kids that I love seeing receivers, especially on the offensive side. So kind of just like teaching what I've learned and knowing that I was in their position at one point and kind of learning from the older guys. Now me being in that position, I'm just so grateful, and that's kind of the biggest thing for me.
What do you hope that kids learn if they do come to this camp? What do you hope they get out of this experience? What sort of coaching do you hope they receive?
Becoming a better football player and knowing, I guess, that the Grizzlies are on top, especially in the state of Montana. Kind of just developing kids, growing their love of the game of football, making them become better people on and off the field.
You mentioned the winning part, right? And you guys won a bunch last year. I know it's such an interesting season because at the same time it's one that you want to be proud of, but also you guys probably did fall short of the ultimate goal. So how much does that sort of motivate you guys this offseason? And a driven group, it seems like, talking to all of you guys. So how much has that just sort of played into your guys' mindset this offseason coming into this next year?
Oh, it plays a big role, kind of always keep that in the back of my head. How we performed last season and what we can change and do better, and everything we can to get to the end goal, winning that national championship. So it kind of always keep that in the back of my head and motivate me, and just work harder every single day.
Well, it's been fun to watch, and certainly will be fun once we get into the meat of football season. But if you have a kiddo, please do send them down to this camp coming up on July 17th, Washington Grizzlies Stadium. We'll put all the various different ways to get into the camp, sign up for the camp, all that stuff on all of our various social medias, on the metadata, the YouTube pages here, as well as we'll tell you about it on the radio and the TV as much as we possibly can. But if you have a kid, please go sign up for these camps and go support these guys because this is cool. This is a great way to give back and a cool deal for all the young people involved. So good job on this, man. I'm excited for it, and thanks so much for letting us partner with you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
In honor of our great nation's 250th anniversary, Mattress Firm is having its biggest 4th of July sale ever. Save up to $1,000 off top-rated Tempur-Pedic, or save hundreds off Purple mattresses and premium adjustable bases. Save up to 50% on top-of-the-line mattresses, all backed by their 365-day guarantee. See store for details. It's their biggest 4th of July sale ever at your locally owned and nationally known Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Well, I thought we'd have a little bit more time, but we are up against it. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. Enjoy your beautiful weekend. You're listening to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Blaine McElmurray